What do you feel like they're going to look to pair the Oracle with? Quite often we see it with something like a Leshrac. Could that be an option here for them?
Potentially. They could have just gone it because, it's a good way to get rid of the ink swell. It's a good way to get rid of the flame guard. Really enables a lot of their early. And you would expect, especially with this IO being
Dire
picked up,
team pick.
that the Grimstroke's going to be the one that he's
Lion.
looking to lane. So, I mean, the Lash isn't bad by any means. What else could we look to do it with? Death Prophet doesn't really feel like the style that young PH would want to play. It's too
10
boring,
seconds remaining.
Press a button and move forward and occasionally, get some spirit
5
boys onto
seconds
people.
remaining.
That's not the way he likes to play. So could be the Lesh that they're looking to go forward with. Again, they are lacking a little bit of that team fight initiation, though. It's a bit of a reversal of fortune this time around. Void Spirit's gone, Ember Spirit's gone, Storm Spirit's gone. Invoker doesn't really provide all that much of it, but wouldn't surprise me to see the Queen of Pain in this next wave of bans.
Beastmaster.
Okay. So they're picking Beast actually into Tide and Oracle, which I think are pretty decent. Kraken, great versus the Raw. You've got a hard dispel in the False Promise as well, but that is a very, very strong lane with a Beastmaster Grimstroke and against the
10
Monkey
seconds
King,
remaining.
one of the few melee heroes that I really like in that matchup. And
5 seconds
It's just-
remaining.
It's okay in my eyes, right? Like if you're trying to make any aggressive moves onto the Monkey King or Oracle, you could just use the Fortune's End to get rid of the Inkswell, right? So it's not that bad in that way. And then I feel like once
Team
Oracle
ban.
reaches level 3, you actually can deal with the boars. You can use the Boundless Strike, you could just use the Purifying Flames to deal that burst damage that you need to take care of them. So I don't think it's quite as horrible as we might be thinking.
Radiant team ban.
what are Yangon looking for here for the last young PH here? Is there any flaws in their draft that they need to kind of fill out here?
Catch. They need catch badly. You can't leave all of that on the back of How. He's going to be farming away. Although, wouldn't
10
surprise me to
seconds
see one of the
remaining.
first Monkey King mids that we might have come through. They don't have a
5
great way to get
seconds
rid of the
remaining.
Flame Guard, for sure, for the lane, but it's a lot of bullying potential against an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and that feels like it could be a young PH hero as well. I can just a high skill ceiling, up in the face.
We've seen them shift around as well, so even if it is something that How's like, I'm the better Monkey King player, just
10
give me mid,
seconds remaining.
wouldn't put it past him.
And what about for Nigma
5
Galaxy though? We're
seconds
still looking
remaining.
for an IO pairing.
Radiant team pick.
Is there anything that's standing out at the moment?
Something that utilizes vision amazingly. Wouldn't hate the Sven. I feel like it's good, like high damage against a Tide Hunter, right? Like the Kraken Shell, it's not going to mean crap. If you're just
10
hitting him for
seconds
500 a pop, it's not going to really do much to dissuade. Same sort of thing with a
5
Lion. You're very
seconds
tanky.
remaining.
You can man fight into the Monkey King a lot of the time, and you can just use that Beastmaster Hawk to be able to very quickly dish out a ton of damage. And that's not even with the Inner Beast Aura being taken into account, just for that extra attack speed.
Honestly, for Yangon, I mean, they might still go back into the Lesh if they feel like that. Because there's a lot of mid heroes that have been banned out, and I feel like you need someone to take towers. You can sit behind the Tide, which is a nice kind of combo early. Tide can be very beefy and want to be up in the face of objectives, but if you don't have anyone to combine with to take those towers, I mean,
I feel like Nigma Galaxy have done exactly what
Dire
Yangon did
team
last game, though. Like, what are they going to pick for this? Morphling?
The-
Okay, well,
the
it is a
old
little bit
counter.
of gap close.
I don't say old counter, but we saw it maybe like 6 months ago where it was just, it's a free Ember lane. Like, it's literally free in this matchup. I don't see any replicate targets at all. What are you picking off for Nigma Galaxy?
10
They got a lot of
seconds
time.
remaining.
I think Sven is still fine, right? Like, let's say you smoke
5
and it's
seconds
one, and you've got a
remaining.
Hawk and it's the one space where you don't have it.
Drow Ranger.
Gonna go
Choose your
Drow
hero.
instead. I mean, you're going to need to be playing hyper defensively, but they don't have that amazing way, like with an Ember Spirit or a Storm Spirit or the like, to be able to get it onto the backlines. Maybe once you get the 2 waveform charges, but that's super late. So it's not a terrible Drow game, but it's not a free Drow game either.
Yeah. I really think Drow is a good hero. Like, I feel like the boss
I think
movements.
she is too.
Yeah, like I'm surprised at how undervalued people have on this hero. I also don't think it's a free Drow game. I think it's mainly actually off the back of Alacrity to enable in your dream. You don't have someone to put in front of you and tank a lot of spells like the Tide Hunter or like a Mars, anything like that. So that means you have to really play off the back of just creating as much chaos as possible. We saw Young PH really, put a statement in game one of how the Ember can, do that. And now it's Alacrity's turn to really enable in your dream.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the Morphling looks like it's actually still going to it's not the Beastmaster lane. It's going to be going into the Ember Spirit. So both lanes are kind of okay. I still think like the Zorain Oracle is going to make this lane fine regardless of who's there. So we'll see. We'll see how they opt to finish it up. I was just way too impressed by Yangon. I'm going to have to go with them again. I feel like there's no like incredible target that they need to get in onto the backline to be able to deal with. Like the Grimstroke, sure, he's effective, but I feel like he doesn't have the same level of impact as something like, a Silencer, for example, if you're able to just leave him on his own. So just be able to quickly burst down one of the front targets, I think that's going to be enough for them. And, the Beastmaster is going to need to put himself in harm's way pretty regularly because, he's realistically the front line for all of their push.
What do you feel like Mizu has to itemize then for after the Helm of the Overlord? Is it maybe like more of a utility just to beef him up, or does he go Blink to have some form of initiation?
If they were playing with something like a Sven, like I was thinking, then I think the Blink Dagger is totally fine, right? It sets up for the relocate, but it really doesn't feel like you want to be relocating aggressively whenever you've got a Drow Ranger, right? Like if you're relocating aggressively, it's behind enemy lines, they might have some sort of way to wrap around and set up onto you. Whereas as a Sven, you want to be in the thick of it. Drow, you do not. So I wonder if that might be something for the Beastmaster that's more just like being able to tank up a little bit more, go for something like a BKB so that you can stand there, not get popped by the Morphling, not have a Ravage or a Finger of Death come out into your face.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a different style as well from Yangon. Like quite often Young PH has been on a playmaker to really push the tempo and control it. Morphling's completely different style, even though I've always been a huge fan of Morphling mid versus the Ember Spirit. It's pretty much just a free lane. You don't have a stun or like a huge nuke early to kill him off, so Morphling can really just play around with the attribute shift. You're not worried about any rotations as well from support. So I believe it's going to be a strong lane for Young PH, but I'm just worried that how can you push the tempo and get active and get up in the face of Nigma Galaxy? Because once they hit their timings...
This is a way with the smoke. Getting up into his face. They know they found Mizu. This is twice in a row.
Oh, poor old Mizu. At least he's got some heroes behind him. Especially the... Oh my god. I didn't know you were level 6 yet, Lon. What's going on? Drop the Ravage from skill lane. Now Hal picks up first blood. We're seeing the praises of Hal's Monkey King, and now he's going to have an even better lane. And he's also got Orb of Venom and Rushing Boots as well. So the fact that he's going to have this at a really fast timing will make it that much more difficult for the Beastmaster through the early levels.
The Orb of Corrosion, of course, fantastic at being able to put a lot of harassment on, start to bully out really quickly. And wonder if Lun will be able to secure this bounty run on his side of the map. Have to be a little bit careful, as multiple Galaxy Racer heroes are looking to invade into the triangle. In your dream, it's going to be left here on a little bit of an island. Who's got the faster fingers? It's like it is in your dream.
Has he brought out any extra armor? No, so just the double golem and double branch for Lun. Doesn't have too much regen until Selv comes through, so... We'll see how this double range lane is going to play for Nigma Galaxy. And yeah, you see they're just making sure there's no free way for the Tide to get in. Oh. I mean, I was saying that I believe this game's going to have a lot of emphasis on how Alacrity can perform. And in a matchup where it is very, very, I almost say very, I'd say probably like 65-35 favor for the Morphling. So we'll see how Alacrity can fare.
I would say so. You're not going to be susceptible to too much harassment in the laning stage as the Morphlings, so you can constantly just be playing around with the attribute shift there. Maybe super early on Alacrity if he's able to, take advantage of some cheeky plays with that Searing Chains. Me hit level 2 nice and early, and with that Adaptive Strike, it's not going to be enough to be able to burst through the Flame Guard. So
Wait,
that's
what?
one of those things.
Hang on, what the?
What up?
Am I? I'm not tripping. Hang on, what just happened? The range creep was alive before the pause, and now it's not. I'm so confused.
I'm not sure where you're looking at. Sorry.
Mid. What?
So it was alive, and then the pause happened, and then it died?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it does that. Like, there are things that can happen. Like, I've seen in a pause, I'm sure there's YouTube clips of it somewhere, where, like, someone just dies during a pause. It's like, wait, what the hell? What just happened? And they were on, like, 1 HP. But for whatever reason, the time just continues to creep on forward.
Is that blood? Okay, look at the range creep mid. It's on the radiant range, so you can't click on it. It's well, I'm trying to, it won't let me. But if you go on like the, I don't know what mode it's called, but like how you can zoom in. Is there like blood coming out of him? A little bit of water, and then I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. I'm just, I don't know. I'm kind of fascinated by that. I don't know. I was like, hang on, okay. I'm like thinking, young PH, you didn't get the deny alacrity. Should be able to get the range creep with the flame guard, but apparently not. But anyway, that's a mid matchup. Interesting's happening over there. How's bottom looking at the moment for the Beastmaster? They pull the lane? They did. Okay, so Yokem, do you want to see him drag it all the way behind, or is he just going to hold it in front of the tower and look to try and deny a wave?
I think all the way behind is fine. The thing is, this is one of those lanes where, as a support, you actually want to be leeching experience. You want to hit up onto that level 3 on Zorain so that you're able to deal with the pause in the laning stage. So if he does do that, it's the position 5's job to go and join together with Jokem just to make sure that the creep wave isn't disrupted all that much, and you're able to soak up that experience rather than just getting it all denied away from you.
Oh, hell yes.
You do see, though, how much difficult it's going to be, though, for this lane matchup. You were speaking about the Oracle to be able to pair just against the Grimstroke. You pretty much get rid of the Inkswell factor. So I wonder if Yokem, do you feel like he even levels it in a lane like this?
Maybe just the 1 point, just to try and, like, bait out a usage of the spells. It's pretty expensive to have to do that, though. 120 mana for 100 mana. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe it'll enable some kind of turnaround potential, but it does become a little bit difficult. Just trying to think as well, like, this top lane, it's looking like being a little bit challenging here for Lun, of course, but, I mean, the Drow Ranger, of course, can dish out so much damage if you just give her any kind of freedom, and I feel like that's really where Hal's going to need to pop off. It feels to me like young PH, he's the real hard carry of this game. You know, Monkey is still one of those that can be mobile, that can play a little bit more of that aggressive style, and it'll be young PH that'll need to carry this game out. Also, just one of the other benefits of having an Oracle with this lineup in particular, of course, Monkey King, he gets the Jingu Mastery, so you're going to benefit from the False Promise, the additional healing and regen that comes from that. Same sort of thing with the Morphling. He's just going to naturally build into the Morbid Mask just to assist with his farming, so buffed up even further by the Oracle as well.
It's rarely we see that the Yangon aren't the ones with the connection issues. I feel like they're a little bit happy that they're the ones holding everything up. It's goddamn Paulson.
At least this isn't like the 15-minute in your dream need to download the update for Dota pause.
Oh yeah, my god.
Unless it is, you know. we don't know yet. The pause hasn't stopped.
You reckon we hit him 4 AM again?
I hope not. I gotta go out tomorrow. Saturdays are for the boys, you know?
Saturdays for the boys. Saturdays just for chilling. Chilling, gaming. Us gamers know that at heart. Come on.
Alright, he's back.
Nice. There we go. Back underway here. Just gives all the players time to set up how they want to perform the lanes and at least the actions they want to take. And we see Paulison in your dream. Do you feel like they are playing off for pulls of this lane, or are they going to look to kind of harass the Tide as much as possible and you know, get him out?
They're going to harass the Tide as much as possible, but, I mean, Hollison, he's going to be putting himself in a little bit of a weird spot here. Not the longest tether. Still able to get himself to safety. The Sentry Ward comes down a little bit late as well for blocking up this camp, so you're still going to have this Wild Wing Riptor to deal with, although Skiller, he's got that, he's got that damn creep continuing to follow him. I like the fact that Skille is putting a lot of priority on body blocking this camp up, not wanting to give up too much experience and gold for the Sentry Wards.
It feels like it's going to be a pretty
bit of a counterplay. Like they're doing the counter creep pull. Zorain bringing it behind their own tower, making sure they're able to get up those early levels nice and quickly. Although what that does mean is that they weren't able to body block up this hard camp. So Mizu, he's going to look to do it just back in return. Zorain, the tip coming through for Mizu. Nicely done.
doing a lot of damage, in fact, on Zorain. Do you feel like it's going to be a bit more of a passive laning stage? Like, is there any kill lanes we should be expecting, or just a bunch of harassment and securing CS?
I'm telling you, level 3, it could start to pop off down on this bottom side of the map. You know, Zorain, he's going to be able to get this small camp pull off if he wants to. They're actually not even in a position to stack up the hard camp to maybe go for something a little bit greater, and gets the partial pull off. That's exactly what you want when this small camp's only single. Even starting to get some of these stacks off for Skille in the triangle. Good for assisting with some of the farm coming through for Monkey or the Morphling.
It's like Zorain, yeah, you got that nice little stack, and he's going to help out another lane as well, just picking up the bounty, taking away some of the regen for Alacrity, but he's in fact done the same thing. Just mirrored the movement, probably scouted out some of the stacks by the triangle camp as well, so we'll see how Nigma Galaxy play around that. I mean, they themselves don't have the greatest lineup to take any stacks, so it won't be easy to invade.
Yeah, it's really, maybe it's just giving more through to the Tide Hunter. Perhaps have the Lion sit in lane, soak a little bit more of that farm, even if it's only for a moment. I know Tide's one of those heroes that absolutely loves to sit in lane, and even beyond the tier 1 tower and start to farm, but he's able to just accelerate it that little bit further while farm's still going over to the Lion. I feel like that's going to be a big success for Yangon. Here we go. Making a little bit of a play. They end up using the X-Swell, but it was instantly cancelled out, actually. And, well, there goes the boar. More experience going in favor of Yangon Galacticos, already a level ahead. As I was about to say, Mizu might be in a little bit of trouble here, but the Primal Spring still on cooldown for a couple of seconds.
Well, they're just botting this bottom lane. 28-11. Mizu not having a fun time at all, so see what Yokam can do to maybe enable him. And we saw the early pulls, but it's not like you can really leave Mizu by himself as top in your dream. It's getting chased down a little bit. Lon kind of lacking the mana to continue with that, however. And is there a stage where we could see the Drow like make an early rotation down bottom and try and get a kill, and then the objective is, hold that thought, how Zorain as well jumping on forward. Yokam will have Inkswell, considering that the Fortune's End has been used previously. So enable Yokam to get a little bit of distance, but nonetheless, how with the boots and the Orb of Corrosion, a free kill for him.
I think it's fine for Drow to rotate, but it's got to be around Beastmaster having, I'd say, level 6, maybe even level 7, just so that they can actually have some solid kill threat for this, because when you're looking to make that rotation, it'll probably be with a Tide Hunter with Ravage, and, you know, you get any stun in onto this Drow Ranger, you've got great connect to be able to punish that, with the Monkey King having a great start to the game, and of course Morphling, if he wants to join in as well, he's got some good burst potential.
See, Lun's just getting tickled right now versus the Io and the Drow, and Lion's doing a really good job, but oh my god. He was taking too many of those volleys. Had to smoke.
He was using the thick boy Tide Hunter to try and block a few of the multi-shots there.
Zori again stealing another bounty. Got a TP if he wants to just go straight for it. He's got a TP on the... Wait, Zorain?
I'm not sure what that's all about.
Radiant
Rick was
are
like, thanks,
scanning.
I'll make my Stroke of Fate do a little bit more damage. That's pretty big as well, because you get solo experience from that. Mizu's been doing okay now, level 5. They won't... You know, we spoke about in the earlier series and how a Beastmaster really wants to utilize this first catapult timing to do a lot of damage onto the tower, but it's going to be another game where he won't be successful.
I was wondering... Actually, I feel like Tao should have died there, in my opinion, as well. Alacrity.
Should be okay. Young PH is pretty much high strength more for the moment, so you see the damage is very lacking.
See, I feel like Hao should have died just there because you knew that the TP was used by Oracle when the death happened. So it's one of the few times where you can actually use that Inkswell to continuously dive underneath the tower. Hao wasn't exactly healthy at the time after landing that Stroke of Fate, but now it's given time for Zorain to just walk all the way back to the lane, and instead, tower still taking a fair amount of damage, but there's no death for Hao and no tower taken either.
That's off the back of just a beautiful heads-up play from Nigma Galaxy, just tanking up the tower a little bit to keep that catapult alive. So, honestly, really surprised at how much damage it took, but I guess that's the help of the inner beast. That's only level 2 at the moment, so this could give them an early tower advantage. We can start to open up the map that much more.
It's a nice timing on the Helm of the Dominator, though. You've got the Centaur Conqueror now available as well. Something else that you can just look to pair together with the Inkswell. Not exactly something that you want to be using the Fortune's End onto.
Again, so much emphasis from the supports to try and secure these power runes. Fortunately for Young PH, he's going to be successful. And they see Yokam mid, so I wonder if this will give them an opportunity to pounce on Mizu, but I mean, like you were saying, that the Helm Dome gives him a little bit extra survivability. So when do we feel like we're going to see this first movement on? I guess a bit too late in the answer. It's going to be Dire now, making a smoke. Alacrity,
Radiant's
level
bottom
7,
tower is
paired with
under attack.
Yokam. They're looking to head down bottom.
Yeah, they could have nearly got the kill onto the Morphling if Yokam was level 4 at the time, but now he's got the 1 point in the Phantom's Embrace, and with the Hawk being used to scout, I mean, Zorain...
On top, they're going to jump. Lund, he's got the Ravage. They just might not even need it here as they can surround the Drow Ranger. Meanwhile, down bottom as well. And Zorain was penalized for being solo with the Monkey King leaving him, but a 1-for-1 trade you're well and truly happy with.
You'll take the trade, and as well, you know, you mentioned the Ravage, the fact that they didn't have to use it. I feel like if it was expended there to kill the Drow, you do rotate to defend this on Nigma Galaxy Racer, but instead, Lund was able to hold on to it, and they're going to get the fine trade. So, big win for Yangon Galacticos, being able to come out of the laning stage in a better position, give that last hit over to Hao, continue to extend his lead, and this is against a Beastmaster draft that is stronger at pushing than you are. Now, you can just see parking himself down in the more difficult position as Lund, just continuing to farm up.
Either team have traded these T1 towers, but what do we feel like is the next play? Is it Yangon or Nigma that are going to look to be the ones to kind of put the pedal to the metal?
I think it's just going to be, if it's on Yangon, it's going to be based around the Tide Hunter and actually wanting to rotate towards the middle side.
See the Oracle get chased down. Die converging on the area. Morphling is a different beast. Full strength morph out. Chain control afterwards a little bit lacking with that Inkswell timer. Skill A looking to get in the area as well. With the haste, just in and out he goes. So Young PH is continuously getting chased down. A waveform up in a couple of seconds, but a couple of seconds too long. A big kill on the Morphling, who was having a very free lane mid. They also cut the tree on the Monkey King long. Waiting in the wings. Will drop the Ravage. Hao's going to look to turn as well. Not holding a point in the Wukongs, but there's plenty of damage thanks to the Boundless. A big kill on the Ember Spirit is Alacrity penalized.
Yeah, Alacrity penalized, but they did punish the Morphling. You know, as soon as Lund revealed that he TP'd down to the bottom side, they wanted to make a play around that mid lane. Any time that you're revealing any information to the enemy team, they're going to address it accordingly.
Now they're actually going to look to group up. I mean, they don't have the Ravage, which is a big ultimate, but catapult timing.
I wonder if Paulson, with the spirits at that maximum range, was trying to go for the catapult, but it's a little bit of a win here.
Get the catapult. Objective kill. Right clicks. Oh. Lund's got to be careful. It's the objective.
Lun?
Surviving
This is key.
here. Young PH has an aggressive waveform. Silence at the last second, but again, they're just lacking the damage on In Your Dream. Young PH very split away from the team at the moment. Attribute shift still, I mean, he's pretty much full strength now. Not much more health to be able to get claimed.
They got the finger of
He's
death.
got enough space for that waveform, but they're going to continue to hunt. There's a Remnant clipping the backline, and In Your Dream looking to continue to chase for more. I mean, Polison just further amplifying the Drow Ranger, Mizu as well. The early aggression enabling Nigma Galaxy. They're going to go for a TP up, but Mizu, raw backup and available, so Lun not successful in the attempt. Simultaneously, Alacrity, it's going to be okay. Monkey King not able to get that last little bit of damage there, but yeah, Nigma Galaxy really pushing it right now.
Radiant's middle
Yeah, for
tower
sure.
is
They're
under
trying to
attack.
beat Yangon Galacticos at their own game, and just shows the difference of having a Drow Ranger, or even just In Your Dream in general, able to freely hit. You know, he's got a game now. He's sitting towards the top, of the net worth charts. The plus side is, with the Primal Roar used, at least Yangon will be able to rotate back towards the mid lane, claim it back for themselves. It's even a little bit of a win for
Dire's middle tower
Galaxy
has
Racer that
fallen.
you saw the TP used on Young PH as well. So I'm sure they'll be keeping his location at the front of their mind as much as possible as to where they can look to position themselves.
Polo. Trying to take the hard camp away. Scouts out all the stacks at the moment, but I do not think they can contest this, so... All farm given over to Young PH. How are we feeling about the status quo of this game? Is anyone, you know, happier than the other with the performance so far?
I think they're both fairly happy with how it's gone so far. Most importantly, it's Alacrity that is a little bit further behind than I might have been expecting coming into this. Yes, the Morphling was a good lane for Young PH to play into, but since then, he hasn't been the one to secure too many of the kills. He's been part of 2 assists as well as the kills that he's been able to pick up. It means that these sorts of kills might not be able to land because he's a little bit lacking in the additional damage coming through.
Oh, it helps with the DD. Gotta be cautious if he jumps inside the Wukong's command, and with the Finger of Death, lay it down as well. Alacrity. He'll still get the kill, and now with the TP rotation coming through from Polo and In Your Dream, this relocate
Ooh, okay.
+2 factor. Alacrity somehow still alive. Let's see if he can cut through the tree line. He won't be successful. But at least they'll trade the life. It'll make it worthwhile. In Your Dream is stuck here, but
Radiant's
it's only
bottom tower
Lun
is
coming on
under
over.
attack.
So a 2-for-1.
Even the bottom side starting to be pressured in a little bit here. Young PH, like I mentioned before, with the use of that TP scroll, and that there was no way that he was going to join in to try and defend his teammate. They're even looking to punish the bottom side of the map as well, with the Monkey King and the Lion being revealed on that top side with the Beastmaster Hawk.
Quite often Beastmaster just looking to pop himself down bottom, which keeps the triangle relatively
Radiant are
free
scanning.
for the Drow. They have smoked up Young PH, looking to lead the charge, and should be just a free kill on Mizu. Unfortunate, it's been a bit more of a rougher game here for the Beastmaster. 1, 2, and 4 isn't, I mean, he's neck and neck with his counterpart, but not the game that Mizu would be hoping for.
At least he got the
Radiant's
deny off
middle
onto his
tower
Helm
is
Dom
under
creep with
attack.
his boar there, so not feeding any unnecessary gold over to the enemy team. Nicely done, as Polison looks to get another stack up in the Ancients, and he's going to assist In Your Dream with taking that one as well.
It's a very even game we have at the moment, 15 minutes in, but are you in the same board that it feels like Nigma Galaxy? I'm a bit worried of how they can contest to the later stages versus Yangon.
I'm a little worried as well, but In Your Dream has had a far superior game to last time, so I think it's just going to be dependent on perhaps a few mistakes coming out from Yangon Galacticos, because again, they are lacking in the form of safe ways to look to initiate onto the backlines. You know, there's not a huge amount of stuns, sure, if you were to go in super deep, but in order to get any kills onto the likes of the IO, you're going to need to be agimorphed on Young PH, and you're going to need to be jumping around in trees on How against a Beastmaster who's going to have his Hawks in the vicinity. So if you're not careful, you can get turned around on pretty quickly, and then once those heroes are taken out of the team fight, Drow's free to just do whatever the hell she wants.
Well, it will be a little bit more difficult in the next couple of minutes once these blinks are picked up. Lun is, you know, about 100 gold away. Lion as well is really, really close. It was unfortunate for Lion as And your Dream is able to catch him out down bottom, the use of the Hawk. A great timing as well as they link up with the Catapult. I was just going to say, Dai, they still want to be the ones you're playing aggressive, looking to take these objectives. I mean, a Drow, a Beastmaster, always favorable in that regard, but gotta be cautious now as Lun does complete the blink, so they're actually looking to fight and defend on Yangon.
Liking the positioning of this Sentry Ward as well by Zorain. You can't see it just yet, but it would scout out the Beastmaster Hawk there, and it's just far enough behind that the...
Did they see them smoke? Were they under Hawk
no,
or
I
not?
don't.
Okay.
No. Actually, yes, they would have.
Well, Lun looking for the angle. Is going to jump in instantly. In Dream, an early Hurricane Pike and getting back to safety. It's actually going to continue to stand his ground. The Phantom's Grace, a great way to try and deal with the Tide Hunter. Number Soulbind. Oh, look at the Delta split. A Ravage only clipping on one. A beautiful start to the fight for Nigma Galaxy. Now they can look to turn it back around. It's Lun control towards the backline. They've got the roll before the attribute shift. A completely mess of the fight here from Yangon. That's not the opener you're looking for to reveal the blink. And I mean, Nigma Galaxy just played to perfection. They play the teetering on the outskirts of that team fight, and they go back in once they're on the edge.
They were honestly in a position to get a pretty decent Ravage off, but the issue was Morphling wasn't in position, Monkey King's off farming, continuing to want to get closer to the survivability item for this off, and it's going to cost him dearly. That's the tier 2 tower going down on the bottom side of the map. If they wanted to take the outpost, they could, and yeah, they're just going to look to connect and get the tier 1 mid. They're even in a decent position to go for Roche soon.
I mean, it feels like this happens so often though when you're against like a Drow and a Beastmaster. You lose one fight, 2 objective drop, you lose the map control, and then playing after that is so much more difficult. Because now Ravage is on cooldown for another 90. So how do you actually get back into the map for the next minute?
Even False Promise, right? Like that was used by Zorain on himself by accident. So Morphling ended up dying. He was fully agimorphed, I'm assuming, expecting that the save was going to come through for him. So it's a big win, that team fight for Nigma Galaxy Racer, and I talked about the potential for, you know, them to go later beyond some of the mistakes that come through from Yangon. Well, that was a big one.
Stalking Grimstroke at the moment. He's not going to be able to find an angle to drop the Wukong, so just going to continue farming and deep inside Nigma Galaxy's territory. Do you feel like... there's still a big window back into this game for Yangon. I mean, they're not that far behind. You've got a Tide. I mean, we've always seen some crazy Ravages, and it just comes down to that last fight. They didn't execute well.
They didn't execute well, and I feel like, you know, even just something like the Manta style on the Morphling is so significant. You know, it means that he can probably be playing that bit more aggressive. He's not as worried about the gush, although he should be worried about them running at his face.
Zorain has got this False Promise back up. He waveforms into the Soulbind lead, so they've got to be cautious. Manta still not completed just yet. They'll kill off the Lion. Finally, False Promise is utilized here, but Young PH is still taking way too much damage. He'll tick out afterwards, and Alacrity's hunting for more. You see how different of a game it is. Nigma Galaxy can be up in the face thanks to the Ember. They're still looking to stick around. Ravage at the ready. Wukong as well. Lun gonna jump in sleep. They need to deal with the Io. They'll melt through the Drow Ranger and the Ball of Light. A beautiful 1-2 combo as the ultimates drop to give some retribution for Yangon Galacticos.
All right, that's a big win for them to be able to claw back, you know, especially the Drow Ranger, who had a nice, juicy kill streak. That's 660 gold over to the way of How. Gets him that much closer to his BKB so that you can look to fight around some of these key engagement areas.
Bottom tower is under attack.
And you see that, like, Nigma Galaxy, they can play very aggressive when the ultimates are on cooldown, but as soon as they come back up, they've got to be cautious on how you play the map. Because quite often, this is why we see Tide so frequently, because Ravage is... It's not really hard to get multiple heroes on. It's very easy to execute, and you pair it with the Wukongs as well. That's just a really easy combo that it doesn't take, you know, too much skill. As top,
Yeah, Grimstroke.
they are pretty deep for this, so it's going to cost some skill, eh? They're getting
Might even look to
something.
get one more lane cut. No, he's going to TP away on the tree line there. Still though, free kill. Another one going over there to Hal. Just getting him closer and closer towards that BKB. He's got it finished now? Yeah, I believe he does.
Again.
In addition to the Quicksilver Amulet as well, so he's pretty speedy. I'm looking to go into Roche with still a minute left on the Ravage timer, they feel totally free to be able to do this, especially considering they knew that the Monkey King would have had to TP all the way back to base, so no way he's going to contest into this one. So big, successful movement there coming through from Nigma Galaxy Racer.
Is under attack.
Bit of an awkward timing with that smoke. I mean, just a vision advantage that Dire are able to play with as well. Just makes it so much more easier to make the calls, take the fights. Their selection has been really solid at the moment on Dire.
Oh,
In your
Rain
dream,
walks into him here.
Ravage on cooldown for another 20.
He's
Maybe
just
they
gotta
can blow up
stay
the
standing
first
on the drow.
life. Nigma Galaxy, they need to try and swing on over. They need on Alacrity as well, so they'll actually assassinate the Oracle in the backline. They'll attempt to TP out. Thinks well stun. Well, they'll cancel that. Beautifully done. Second kill.
Yeah, you either need to be standing on top of the Drow Ranger, or you need to be absolutely nowhere near the Drow. There is, especially when your entire team isn't connected together with you. So, unfortunately for Lon, he was kind of just left out high and dry there, especially after the Oracle was taken out by, again, some good backline poke and prod coming through from Alacrity's Ember Spirit.
It's raiding a very heavy committal. You know, Morphling waveform in.
Yep.
Lun, blink
Primal
in.
Spring.
Primal Spring, everything. Like, and that is quite often how you play versus a Drow. Like, because of the marksmanship and getting rid of the aura, you have to jump him. You've got to be on top of him. And then really, the perfect fight for Nigma Galaxy, if you're versing Ravage, is what we saw by the bottom river, where you kind of play on the outskirts, just poking and prodding like you were saying, which the Ember can do very well. And then when Yangon heavily commit, you play the outskirts, you wait for the Ravage to be used, and then you go back in. And because you've got slows, you've got chains, like you have a ridiculous amount of slows, Yangon cannot retreat away unless they use the BKBs defensively to reset themselves. So it's going to really come down to rating if they can initiate perfectly and blow multiple heroes up, and if they mis-execute the start, then the team fight's going to look really one-sided after that.
They're going to get to that point where they can do that, right? Like, you've got the Manta Style now finished for the Morphling, so he can fight at least. So, you know, you're not going to have to worry about the Gust, the Searing Chains, you know, even the Phantom's Embrace. It's going to be very nice to just get that a little bit of extra assistance to be able to get through it. But eventually, you're going to need this E-Blade, and I can't think of too many better heroes to combine it together with than a Lion. You know, you can be as tanky as possible, but that Finger of Death, it will probably be level 2 by the time the E-Blade's completed. It's a huge amount of burst potential that means that, you know, even when you're tethered together with an IO, it's not going to be enough to save you.
I mean, you can almost pop everyone on the side of Nigma Galaxy. You drop that combo, very easy to execute. Beast has also got the Aghanim Shard too. He's obviously had it for a very long time considering the amount of gold he saved up, but this is just going to be huge for the amount of vision they have across the map. Because again, got to go back to highlight. It all comes down to Radiant and how they can initiate. It's Radiant wanting to initiate, not Dire. So if Nigma Galaxy can take the beautiful fight, like, it all comes down to their fight selection and their positioning.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And even getting the BKB on Drow. I mean, she's got the Aegis, but she feels, I don't want to say unkillable at this stage, but it's going to be pretty damn hard, at least before that that E-Blade comes out on your Morphling, and that's still a fair ways away.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Still, I mean, the net worth lead's continuing to grow with this Aegis advantage. They've got it for another 3 minutes.
Radiant's top
So a
tower
long
has
time
fallen.
here for the side of Dire to get mass effectiveness out of it. And they're just looking to take this
Radiant's
last
top
outer tower.
is under attack.
I really felt like even though Yangon were looking to posture themselves around the top side of the map, maybe get someone to pick off Nigma, they're playing this right. They're just grouping up together, realizing that if we don't give them the chance for some pick-off potential, they can't kill us. And it did feel like because he disassembled the Echo Saber to finish the BKB, there wasn't going to be the damage coming out from Hao just yet. It's just now that he's been able to repurchase the Ogre Axe.
I mean, look at this attack range. In Your Dream can just posture himself so far in the back line.
Classic Grove Bow gaming.
Radiant's
Mizu's got a blink as well now, so they do have at least one opportunity to start. Going on Morphling's a bit awkward because of the cast animation. See, they're just so far in the backline and Polison. Lon has to blink further past him. They're going to do just that. Trying to jump the Ember Spirit with the chain lockdown. It's perfect from skill lay, so they'll deal with the first life as well. And they've laid down the Wukong, so as soon as he respawns, is going to have the answers to the Golden Warrior just beating on top of him. Paulison hasn't opted for the relocate just yet. In Your Dream actually wants to look to stand his ground and man-fight protected with the BKB for the moment. They've also got these systems to double the Roar at the last second. Instantly answer with a false promise. Some more thing will get some opportunity, but now on top of the backline, how stacked up the Jingu. A massive amount of damage with the balance. Paulison, he needs to take it away, but the Uber's too late. Drow Ranger gone. Now they can look for more as well. There's the defense, there's the fight as Yangon. A huge way to come back into this game. They might even be able to get more blood as well. And Paulison and Mizu still sticking around as Polo back to the relocate location. Man, that is the fight you're looking for.
Yeah, it took everything that they had. All ultimates popped. You had, I don't want to say the perfect Ravage, but pretty damn close. You know, Paulison was in position to be able to potentially get the save off there, but it was just way too much damage that Hao's able to output because of the good early game that he's had.
Do you feel like Grimstroke needs a defensive item just to maybe keep like Ember or Mizu alive? Because it really feels like Io is just going to consistently be playing with the Drow.
Yeah, it feels a little weird, right? Like he's going in stuff. I'm not sure how much that's actually going to do in a lot of these engagements. You know, Monkey King, Morphling, they're those types of heroes that once they get on top of you, you can't exactly run away. You know, it's either just the Orb of Corrosion coming through from the Monkey King. He's very speedy. He's got the Quicksilver Amulet building into the Skadi. Same sort of thing with the Morphling, right? You've got the Waveform to be able to chase people down. You've got the slows coming down or the stuns from the Adaptive Strike. Very difficult to be able to disengage once they've gone in onto you.
I do think
will they see this DD on the top side as the smoke comes in?
Ravage is on cooldown. Manta, it was already used previously, so Morphling not gonna have the defensive factor, and Zorine also doesn't have false promise. So again, ult is on cooldown, instantly penalized.
He's got the buyback, and they'll scout out the DD. It's being pinged out for Hao at the moment. I wonder if they might try and shove in this mid lane a little bit. Even if it's just to be a bit of the distraction play. Hao probably can't afford to do it, actually. Doesn't have the buyback for himself.
Oh, you really want to make this siege without ages. Ravage, of course, Morphling down for 30.
Could be worth the buyback, though.
Let's see how the DD comes into the play. Oh, the stun!
The tether
Paulison's tether still is able to get the Ravage off instantly, just rips apart In Your Dream. Paulison too late for the relocate to keep him alive. At least the Soulbind will allow them to reset their positioning, and Mizu attempts to TP out just in the nick of time. My god, that tether stun though. They're still hunting. Skill late. Rips them apart thanks to the Finger of Death, and Alacrity and Yokam hand in hand. We get some retribution, but whew, that's a lot of damage.
It is for sure, and I mean that was with the BKB popped by the Drow Ranger as well, and they were still able to completely explode her. That's the level of damage that you can get if you go for this Manta style build on the Morphling instead of the shotgun to be able to start off with. So he's approaching that level 18. It's looking pretty scary to be able to come up against young PH.
Do we feel like there's any prime replicate targets this game?
Ooh, Grimstroke's pretty nice, as well as the Ember Spirit. Both pretty damn value just to be able to continue your damage, even if you're getting kited out by the likes of the Soulbind. So, but always just to be able to give yourself the Inkswell. Such a massive bonus. There is that E-Blade.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Wish fulfilled.
Is it kind of both team are looking to prioritize the supports? It always feels like it's pretty much the same thing every game. Just, you know, jump the supports, take them out of the occasion. But is it any different this game?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that's the meta these days, and I hate it, you know?
Yeah, as a support player,
always,
yeah.
As a support player, you always want to have some kind of contribution towards the game, and it feels like you're just playing a bit of cat and mouse as opposed to playing Dota a lot of the times. So, I mean, you don't really have a choice on Paulison. You have to stay connected together within your dream. And you can see that Jokam, he's kind of got that same sort of mindset, that cat and mouse. He's got the Blink Dagger, so he wants to be playing well on the back lines. It was just that perhaps getting caught out a little bit too early that time around.
We have seen though, even though Mizu had a bit more of a rougher laning stage, he's doing very well in regards to net worth. Currently sitting just behind or teetering between the Morphling's net worth. So the fact that he's putting a lot of work into this game, considering how rough of a game it was looking early on, big props to Mizu.
They're grouping up together right now. It feels like Yangon want to go for a smoke. I definitely want to see them wait for this Eye of Skadi to come out for How. It looks like this creep camp should be enough to do it. But they just got to make sure that they're not underneath any kind of vision. I mean, they got to place down their own sentry ward up here. Oh, they actually end up getting rid of the Hawk with a gush instead.
Skadi's so huge versus the range carry like the Drow. And you get the double effectiveness and the IO too, yeah, because of all the mitigation from the healing. It's just going to make it that much more difficult to rally away from the initial jump of Yangon.
Seems like Mizu might have been trying to bait them into him a little bit there, using the wild axes to be able to push out that creep wave a little bit, but has to be careful about continuing to stay around here as the push continues on the bottom side of the map. It's a siege creep wave, but it's coming in 2 waves time, so you're going to have to try and find someone better. Good positioning by Yangon, making sure they're staying around the area that's safe for them.
Do you reckon Yangon could be considering like an early gem this game just to maybe minimize... Oh, there you go. Zoran's actually just picked it up. So I'm a big fan of it, considering the Beastmaster just gives you so much extra advantage, and I think they are reliant on having the map completely dark for Nigma Galaxy.
Well, Zoran, he's also got the Tome of Knowledge. I wonder if he's going to feed that through to someone. Wouldn't be bad for Lun, just to give him that extra ravage. Actually, they end up giving it over to How, I believe. They just want to make him as tanky as possible.
The Rune of Illusion.
Oh, Lun's so close to 18. Literally 3 experience. Give this guy something. There you go, creeps up, should be able to get it.
Yeah, they don't have the outpost, so they won't get the one that happens on every minute, but there we go.
Roshan is up in the next 5 seconds here.
They'll see it as well on Nigma Galaxy with the Hawk scouting it out. So what was the TP situation like? Looks like everyone has retained theirs except for Alacrity. He doesn't have one in his TP slot at the moment, so see if he looks to rectify that. It looks like he's just going to connect through to the rest of his team instead, but if he ever does need to retreat from a team fight, he might be finding himself in a little bit of trouble. I think he's got the dust coming out to him now, so not even worrying about the TP.
Gonna be a huge team fight.
Ooh, I think they want to go.
Yeah,
they'll see these Morphling Illusions bot. They see that they're coming. They know the Roche is up. They're going to look to maybe scout this out. Alacrity still just wanting to stay back here. Pushes out the Siege Creep wave, but this is a very key timing for Nigma Galaxy if they wanted to take it.
It's nice that Lun, with the level 15 talent with the gush damage, he can one-hit the Hawks. And he's holding the gem now, so... just a pest killer. Dealing with all the vision across the map. They do have big issues though, like you were saying, how Morphling just went down bot with the illusions to try and shove the lane out. Beast is doing a really good job just to kind of force bottom to be like a trigger lane. Maybe allow Yangon to split up, and then taking a 4-on-5 fight just could be the angle they need on Nigma Galaxy.
Kind of want to see something like an AC come out for either How or Young PH. Like, they've been known to be a bit greedy, right? Like we just saw last game, no BKBs. But you're up against a Drow. She's level 19, nearly level 20. At least Tidehunter's got the plate mail to be able to protect against the marksmanship. Yep. They've got nothing. You know, if they're caught in the wrong space, they will have no way to be able to protect against this. And this is with an Orb of Corrosion on top of that, so you'll be in the negative armor if that's going to be the case.
Izzy honestly might just jump skill though.
Wish fulfilled.
Hanging out on the edge here.
Look at this rat Dota.
This cannot be the lion to deal with this. One of the cores has to come back.
I mean, you've either got to take Roche or you've got to come back as a team, and I feel like as soon as they come back as a team, they're going to Roche on Nigma Galaxy.
Double damage.
It's just going to be Morphling for now. DD popped. Silver Edge. Walking into Roche. What's the vision look like right now?
How sees it? Dude, Roche falling so fast.
But they know, though. They know what's happening. Eyes
on Lun. Trying to find the angle in. Ravage out. No BKBs. They should be able to steal the Aegis. How finds it? Look at the damage! Paulison too late for the relocate. Instantly assassinate 2 heroes. Alacrity at least can reset his own position, but Radiant, they want to try and find any stragglers. Paulison's one of them. Tethers up. Won't make it out.
Very important. I mean, it's very rare that a Beastmaster lineup doesn't have the vision advantage there. Unfortunately, they started the Roche and then they opted to put down the ward on the high ground. They even used 2 observer wards up there, I believe. But well, it was a little bit too late. They saw that the Io was hanging around, so the fact that you used the Silver Edge with the double damage on the Drow Ranger to take it wasn't going to be that useful.
Draw down for 30. Siege pretty speedy on Radiant with the Morphling and the Monkey. They're going to be lacking creeps.
Remain fortified. Yeah, I mean, at least the Fire Remnant with the Ember Spirit Aghanim Shard is going to be able to keep that wave pushed out a little bit. I think they're going to be content with just the tier 3 for now. Maybe look to make a rotation towards the top side of the map, making sure not to refresh the Glyph of Fortification. I don't think they care about the bottom side of the map at all right now on Yangon Galacticos. They want to take away the outpost, they want to take away the top tower, and they want to take away a bit more of the map control that it feels like Nigma Galaxy have had for the past 15 or so minutes.
So do you want Yangon to maybe drop a ward down bottom and set up here, which Zorin just does? Because we've seen quite often it's Dire that are controlling bot with the help of the Beastmaster. Like, one person is always around this area. So could they look to take a fight here, or do they still just kind of play where they naturally do up top?
Is this Nigma Galaxy?
Yangon. Like, do you want to see them play down bottom or top right now?
I want to see him play top. In my eyes, there is never a situation, especially 35 plus minutes into a game, where you've got the potential to break high ground, where you want to intentionally refresh a glyph, like by taking a tier 1 tower. So if you go top, you can still secure more map control from yourself, you can take an outpost, and then you've got the threat to be able to go up onto the high ground.
Start to head their way to the triangle, cutting mid and bottom. It will at least take away the factor of the exposed bottom barracks, but top is also exposed. And it is a catapult wave as well, and Young PH is already going to start to go to work on the melee barracks. Someone's got to deal with top.
Someone's got to deal with top. You got double siege creep wave, you got a Beastmaster hanging around,
Can't
luckily enough.
Morphling.
Yeah. Have to be a little bit careful there. Doesn't want to pop the BKB for it, but they only take the tier 1 tower bot. I'm not sure how happy you feel about that exchange. If they had a Beastmaster creep there, I feel like that was probably a lane of racks gone.
Might get their tier 2 as well. It's a double catapult wave. Ember's going to get there fast enough to defend it, but
they got the glyph again though, and this late into the game, buybacks are pretty plentiful. In your dream, only 500 or so gold away from it. You should look to pick that one up pretty shortly. Means that that extra few seconds might be what you need to be able to come back into these fights, especially against a team like Yangon that loves to dive. So if you're able to get those tier 3 towers multi-shotting onto several Yangon heroes, that can sometimes be the little bit of extra unexpected damage that you need to be able to get a key kill or two.
Well, Hal has completed the refresher. Seen a lot more emphasis on refresher orbs so far through the Pro Series. And going Shiva's next as well, so he brought up the potential AC for the armor for everyone, but Lon just wants more of his own armor. Attack slow is going to be great, of course, versus the Drow. They're going to play around their own high ground ward. Break is out. This could be the reveal they're waiting for. Lotus Orb. Is it going to be enough actually to keep him live? Simultaneously with the backline, Alacrity looking to try and prioritize the line, but the instant buyback, rejoin the fight. He's actually going to jump back in. Radiant trying to find the opening. They've stunned up the Drow. Apollo, he's not going to mess around this time. Instant relocate away. He doesn't actually bring the Drow back with him. So if they stick around, they've got to get rid of the ward right now. Dire have this advantage. They lost the gem, I believe. Oh, how? Tree's going to get broken. BKB's out. Waveform. Now they've just dropped the Ravage. No messing around. They want to delete the IO. Meanwhile, Mizu's still sticking around too. And blink out the safety if need be.
Well, let's see how safe that actually is. They're pinging that he might be in the sides there, but able to get on out.
I thought the Gus broke the Morphling, the monkey off the tree. That's what I thought the mechanic was.
Didn't work out that way this time around. As well, I think you can be kind of okay with it. I mean, if you're on Nigma Galaxy, right? Like, you use the Ravage. You've waited out the Aegis timer. It's only lost you a couple of supports, and there was even a buyback coming through from the Lions. So the fact that they were able to play around their high ground and still, it's still not dewarded. That's the big issue for mine, that they weren't carrying any kind of detection after they lost the gem.
Yeah, I really want to see Dai smoke up now. I think you have a huge window. We've been harping consistently this game on the fact that Radiant, they win fights off the back of their ultimates, and whenever they're on cooldown, they're at a stage where they have to be cautious of where they play on the map, and especially because you bought back on the Lion as well. That's an easy target for the Ember just to bring down with the Aghanims. Then you have the numbers advantage, and then you go from there. But Radiant playing very disciplined, honestly, for a young team like they are, to be back inside the base. I think this is, whoever's captaining them or the communicator at this stage in the game is doing it very well.
There are some big timings coming through from Yangon Galacticos, though. About 800 gold away from the Satanic on Young PH. He's only one level away from his level 25 as well. I want to see him be the one to buy up the Tome coming through, because how he's incredibly close to level 25. He'll get that additional Wukong's command ring. It's going to be Oracle that buys it, but last time around it was Zorain that just ended up gifting it over to whoever needed it most. And I feel like it's absolutely this Morphling right now.
What talent would you want the Morphling to get?
Waveform charges, just to be able to combine that together with the Satanic is insane.
Yep. We see Ember's relatively close to his own 25.
There we go. He was gifted over. Brings him to about half a level off as he finishes up the Satanic. No buyback now, though. That's the Yangon Galacticos way, just playing with fire.
How? He did
Does
lose
have buyback.
the gem previously, so this is a lot of wards on the map right now from Dire.
In really obvious spots as well. Well, Lun's got it again.
Okay, so did they just pick another one up? Yeah, they did. So Alacrity's still holding a gem. Lun's got his own.
He didn't end up getting rid of the one on the high ground, but all right.
Mizu.
He's the main target.
He's got Blinking Force still. They are stalking him. Young
Under the
PH.
smoke. That's the ninja gear. They're going bot to try and counter out this
That's
movement here from the Drow.
Let's see how much damage. Once again, dude, the tether break. So annoying. And now they're going to get out of top. They actually might be in trouble because these wards weren't dewarded previously. They're going to see Alacrity on the back line. We'll see Hao and Lun. That's both the heroes you need for your team fights, but the break is out. Instinct got rid of thanks to the Lotus Orb. It's not going to matter. Straight away, you pick up a gem, and it's gone.
Chill out.
That's a big loss.
And they smoke underneath the ward still that they didn't get rid of previously, so Dire feel content to take the fight. Skillay is going to be the one to start. They'll buy back on the Tide Hunter. It's going to take him a while to join. They'll look to chain control the Ember Spirit. Alacrity, enough time for the slide. He's actually going to zip in aggressively with the BKB. Alacrity is doing so much work on top of the backline. He's going to help protect the Drow, because Young PH is trying to deal with Polo in your dream. So a very split up fight. Buybacks galore at the moment. Mizu getting involved once again. Oh no, not a DD.
It's a DD, but it's also on division. Have to be careful here, Mizu. Don't want to be blinking in unnecessarily.
They see how. Roche is up.
Yeah,
They got
Roche is
Ravage
up.
too.
They
And
do.
Refresher.
That's
Well, Roche was up. It's not going to be any more. Are you going to let this one go for free? They will.
like it.
Oh,
Just leaving the cheese. Okay, Lod's gonna get it.
Alright, who do you give Ags to? How's holding it at the moment?
I
Oracle?
wouldn't mind Hal just having it. I guess Oracle gets it.
Causes allies. Interesting.
So you could just not take magic damage and then
you're
still
not
be able
disarmed.
to attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a BKB basically. An extra BKB against this is pretty damn effective. At least in terms of damage.
Wait, you sure it's a-
lockdown? No, lockdown still happens, but
Or enemies
the
to be
damage.
immune to magic damage. It is.
yeah, I'm saying like if you use it on yourself,
Yeah.
then it's kind of like a BKB in terms of you're not taking magic
Yeah,
damage,
sure. Yep.
but you can still attack. But the enemy's one is like, it's just so effective to have it at this stage of the game. Like you can essentially like disarm the Drow if she doesn't have BKB, and you still have that shotgun potential. Basically, is what it's saying.
Dire's top tower has
But
fallen.
the situation where
Radiant's bottom barracks
Zoran's
are
going to
under
be in
attack.
range of the Drow Ranger is pretty damn rare. So I would have to say that it's almost exclusively being used defensively.
And we're gonna have to see the positioning from Lun. How no messing around.
Just
Wukong's
the
drop just to secure the tier 3 tower. And they push so goddamn fast with the help of the Morphling. He wants to refresh and have the second Wukongs. This will
Wants to
protect
pop
at
the
least the
BKB
push
before that.
first.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Can we mind Aegis on the Morphling, Cheese on the Oracle.
Just
Cool.
2 hit back to full HP.
Satanic, very, very nice item, very nice.
Very fair, very balanced. We needed to give it a basic dispel for some reason.
Yeah, why not just make it more broken than it is? Very cool, very cool. Again, eyes on In Your Dream. If they can get the Silver's Edge and then 1 stun on the Tide, like honestly, maybe you just drop the raw.
Radiant are scanning.
I feel like young PH just has to start a lot of these team fights. Like, he can afford to waveform in, considering he's got the 2 charges now. So, you know, just use that. You've got the Aegis to be able to back yourself up. You've got the Satanic. You've got a BKB in your backpack. You need to be the one to start the fight. Try and bait out an early BKB from In Your Dream, who, goddamn, I didn't realize it. He's only level 22.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really good early game and it just started to tail off with the Radiant team fight. What's it go? Who are they jumping? You got to blow up the Drow or the Eye?
I want Drow to at least pop BKB. That's as good as killing her at this stage.
Well, Wukong's back up if Al wants to drop it. Manta's going to be forced out. They'll look to jump. The double roar first live going to be taken care of. Not just yet, in fact, because the false promise. It's onto at least the Morphling, which is enough to help young PH. He might tick out afterwards. The damage starting to ramp up. He's actually going forward. Ravage clipping on it. Oh, heroes. Ravage. It's too disastrous. Oh, Lun.
Dire's top
Tidehunt is such a crazy hero right now. Multiple buybacks coming into play. So easy to execute. The mass AoE that it has.
Objective complete. I mean, they don't need to stick around to take this top racks if they don't want to. You know, the buybacks being forced out, that's as good as a team 5 victory for mine. Or, sorry, a lane of racks for mine. It just means that they're going to need to play so much more passively, kind of like what we saw last time around. And it just takes one hero now to be out of position for you to nearly guarantee that this game is going in your hands.
Yeah, they're instantly out of the base here. In Your Dream, Polo looking to at least force them out of taking top. They need... oh my god. I mean, again, we've seen Nigma Galaxy be able to come back from really tricky positions, but you're at a stage where you don't have team fight, and late game Dota is all about team fight.
I know we're a fan of this Drow hero, but this is a game where you have no spirits to get on top of her, you've got no Queen of Pain, you've got no Spectre, you've got an IO buffing you up, and it's still not looking all that effective. There you go. Now I was happy to just pop the next wave of cooldowns. He's letting young PH do the dirty work, making sure that he's not gonna fall down, considering he only had 6 seconds on the BKB. With him retreating, he'll be able to get off another use of the Wukongs and the BKB before using the next refresher. So feels like they're just executing these timings so well.
Yeah, and you see he's actually holding the Spell Prism as well with the Monkey King. So whenever he's got these ultimates, just such a low cooldown. 65 seconds is ridiculous with ability like Wukong's.
Just even now going to be able to almost counter the Beastmaster a little bit. Level 27, so he's got that extra tree dance vision AoE. Going to provide them with a whole lot more information in a lot of these team fights. As well, he'll look to deal with this bot push a little bit. The Ancient Black Dragon, not going to be long for this world, you would think.
I mean, it's a hard angle for them to come back into this. I struggle to see.
It's off the back of mistakes coming through from Yangon, you know, going a little bit too deep without the Aegis and not having buyback. You know, it feels like that sort of situation. Now, level 25 on the Tidehunter, an extra second to that Ravage stun as well, so making things even easier. This is a big item, though, the Refresher Orb being picked up by Alacrity. Just having all of those different fire remnants to be able to dish out an insane amount of damage to the backlines of Yangon.
It just doesn't feel like Dire can get the first jump, though. Like, we saw they attempted it previously, but it's instantly answered with a false promise. Like, Zorain is just positioning himself so perfectly where whatever Nigma Galaxy do to start, it's instantly countered. It just never seems like they have an angle in. And they're making an attempt to posture in the tree line. But if you don't jump the Oracle, I don't see how you start the fight. Mizu,
Oh no, they see Mizu.
No. He's got BKB. So Alacrity's actually going to look to try and give himself some own space. BKB forced out super early on, but I mean, you need the BKB for the team fight. Skill late, what a hex. Onto the backline, gets a connection, another Ravage as well, just to secure the kills. He's got a buyback, but I mean, it just feels like Yangon Galacticos executing to another level. They don't have the ultimates, they can't contest against the team fight. Late game Goda, all on 5v5, and there's nothing you can do as they gotta hope and watch. On outskirts of the Wukongs, but another round of it from Hao. Try and bring them out as far as possible. Another hex from Skill Late, soon to be a dieback. And who would have thought coming in today that Yangon Galacticos would a 2-0 Galaxy race, sorry, Nigma Galaxy, but they are looking incredible.
Yeah, looking very strong. The power of youth making itself known again as even just picking up a Desolator, keeping it in the stash is yeah, maybe a little bit of teasy. You got to make sure you're having fun there with Zora and just constantly cutting out this Drow Ranger and punishing in your dream for thinking that he could even try and contest against an Oracle. Oh, nice the invis there.
What's going on?
What do you
What's
think?
going on? Why is everyone not inside
going
the...
on.
Come on, guys. They're going to be 5 men inside the fountain. That's disappointing, honestly. Really, just who cares about the throne? Jump
How's a
everyone,
lot
get
more
more
focused on the
kills.
throne.
And he's like, guys, I got a little bit of respect. I'll do the dirty work. Objective based gaming. Let's go, baby. Yangon Galacticos, what a performance.
Yeah, coming through again. We were hearing a lot of people, some naysayers in chat, essentially saying, oh, Yangon Galacticos, how? His Monkey King, it's terrible. It's nowhere near the level of some of his other heroes. Might want to check that score graph at the moment. We're seeing a 12, 1, and 14 there on
You
the
really
Monkey
doing
King.
that, huh? You calling everyone out?
I mean, talk shit, get hit is what I want to say. So, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Drow Ranger, to be honest. Like, when they picked it up, it did feel like that if they were able to get in on top of you, you were just so vulnerable, right? You're so squishy, and they have heroes that want to be there. You know, you've got the Monkey King wants to be on the Drow Ranger. You've got the Morphling wants to be right there on the Drow Ranger. You've got the Tide Hunter that wants to be and can just stand on top of the Drow Ranger to take away so much of her damage potential. I feel like something like the Sven would have been fantastic. It would have enabled some much more aggressive relocates to come out, and you would have been able to stand and man fight so much easier, even just enabling the rest of your team with the Warcry, so you're not getting too hit by the likes of a Monkey King with the Jingu stacks and a Boundless Strike.
I'm a little bit on a different side. I didn't hate the Drow as much. I think we saw how the Drow could have worked. They were definitely at a stage where they could have taken this game. There were some fights where they played it exactly how they had to. You had to bait the abilities and then play on the outskirts, wait for the Ravage to be on cooldown, wait for the Wukongs and then go. But it was... their margin for error was very, very low. Like the couple of
why
mistakes...
don't you just take away that margin?
Yeah,
you know, like
I mean,
that's the thing. Why do something risky if there's something safer?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the argument. Unfortunately for Nigma Galaxy, the Drow Ranger just wasn't able to work for them today, and in general, just how they performed versus Yangon Galacticos, they had their number. Everyone again looked solid. You know, they struggled early on. You know, Morphling wasn't finding the items, but just the team fights. This feels like, you know, there's a big reason why we saw Tidehunter through so much at TI. There's a big reason why we're continuing to see him through the Pro Series, because this hero is just so easy to execute in a team fight. Ravage is ridiculous AoE, and it's so good versus the IO as well, and how you want to play. Like you put your core on the front line, you position further behind him, and Ty can blink past the core, still clip him with the Ravage and the support in the back line. It just makes it so much easier to play Dota, and it really feels like right now, for this meta, last meta, and even the one before that, a long duration of months, Dota's all been off the back of team fight, and we're seeing this come into fruition. That's why China thrived. They just draft themselves on team fight. That's why we're seeing this lineup just work so well when they open. This is the third game in a row where they've opened, not third game in a row, but that they've been able to win with a Monkey Tide opener, and they need to start banning it.
Yep. And Lon, there were no Shiva Ravagers here today. He was on point with all of them. Even the last one, clipping onto 4. I think it was the last tentacle that ended up clipping Pollison's IO, and that was with the extra second because of the level 25 talent. So another great performance. We talk a lot about some of the respect needed to be given to some people with their hero picks. I feel like if you don't have that first pick, Yangon, they're not going to let Tidehunter, they're not going to ban Tidehunter, so you got to do it. And if you've got first pick, you got to pick it away from them and force them to ban it, because if you're able to do that, maybe you can take something else away from Yangon that they're very strong with. They tried to go for the block pick with the Ember Spirit. They had the gap closed, but you just saw, it's the power of youth, right? No fear coming through from young PH, and how just willing to dive on into the front of the team fights, having faith in the rest of their team to follow up with the Ravage, with the False Promise, and just having faith in their own skills as well. So very nice win. Who we got left for the last series of the night?
It's going to be Omega versus Army Geniuses. So we've seen Army Geniuses, they're 4-8 at the moment, tied in 7th place, and Omega, one of the really only teams that are having a bit more of a rougher go at the moment. So maybe they can pull it back around. We'll see how this new roster is able to fare for them. It's still going to be a tough task, but yeah, like you're saying, I feel like the respect needs to be given to Yangon Galacticos, playing with no fear at all for the Young Guns as they take the 2-0 victory over Nigma Galaxy. Short break, third series of the night, the last one coming up around the corner.